Dave had a really, really good trade plan. So, like the way he, talked about it, what he wrote, I think was really, really good. So, I felt like, you guys can pretty much gain a lot from that. But we can most definitely go through the trade in crude. What was the other question? CO trade and price action. Okay. Peter, what type of price action are you talking about? You mean within the crude oil trade, or do you mean something else?
Overall, like if we don't break like major like swings, like we make higher high, higher lows, and
Yeah.
then we don't break that, but we make other like so I don't know, like you cannot call them significant lows or highs because they didn't break anything bigger. But like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's kind of confusing, like prices moving within that if it's has any significance if it breaks those pivots inside those highs and lows. Like
Okay.
would probably be easier to show.
Um. Oh, did you want to show something? Is that what you said?
No, I mean it would be easier to show on a chart.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh. Well,
but yeah,
I
we can
don't.
do that later if you want to talk about.
Either or. You let me know how you want to do this, and we'll get
And
going.
you said with Dave, so was it his journal or his
It was his trade plan.
trade plan? Okay.
Sure. Um. So let's pick on someone. Let's go with since who asked Imperator, let's just go with you since you asked the question. The crude oil trade. What time frame is your entry time frame?
I was first looking at the 1 minute, and there I didn't see any signs how I could have found a quick entry, at least in your zone. And then I watched the 15-second chart, and in the 15-second chart, a line break would have allowed me to take an entry, but
15-second, right? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go here. So, all right. So let's just go with the 1 minute first, okay? This is the area we're trying to get into, right? This green area. We come down, finally tap into this green area, right? Right here, come down, we break this up, and here's the retracement. Now, that's not a good retracement. Would you guys agree? That's a really shitty retracement.
It's a retracement that is on the high of the last low. Like if you go left, or more left, like if you see this as a prior low, I mean, it was just a low for a short time, but
yeah,
it held that area.
Yeah, I think that that's valid, what you just said right there. But for me, I still want this to get lower. I wanted it to get to here, right? Retest this zone before going up. Now, we didn't get it, right? So what I did was I started looking at this. Just delete this real quick. Let me just do something real quick. Hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is what I was talking about as far as getting into a trade when
didn't really break anything, see?
Yeah, when you miss this initial pullback, miss and or potentially it's not deep enough because we're looking for a deeper pullback. If you miss that, you could, it's not riskier per se because it's actually less risky, but your stops are a little bit off is what I'm saying. So if you want to, you can look for something that breaks this. right? Make this blue. All right. So once it breaks, no, blue's not good. Let's make this yellow. Okay. Once it breaks this yellow, you can look for a pullback to get long. Meaning, after it breaks this, you're looking for a pullback. Now, I still don't like that pullback right here. I think that's still too shallow. So if you're looking at this, and this is the way I chart things, I wouldn't chart it like this. I would never chart it like this because I think that's just way too shallow. What you could do is after it breaks this point right there, I'm looking for a deep enough pullback like here, if not even down here, to go further up. We don't get that, so what do? We're looking at it. We don't consider this a decent pullback whatsoever, right? What we can do is look for the next break right here, and then what happens is that right there you get a good pullback from this one leg right here. That's a decent pullback. You can get long. That's what I did. And then you just can get long until you try to get as far as possible. Again, I mean, this is a really good out right here. I think I took some off there in 94. Or conversely, what you could do, let's just say you miss all these pullbacks right here, right? All of these are decent pullbacks, right? This one's decent pullback, this is decent pullback. And these are the more continuation. This is part of the whole trade plan thing. It's like, if you miss it, this would be considered an LB continuation in my book, right? Or I call it, LB2 or something shit like that. You can take that. Here, another one. Good, good pullback for it. A break, another good pullback. And these are, for the most part, more scalpy than anything. Sure, you missed it and you're like, fuck, I don't know where it's going to go. That's absolutely true. And what happens is you could just take this as a scalp and see what it does from there. As long as it doesn't break this low, you're fairly decent. And after, cracks here, pulls back, if you want it to, let's just say you got in for like a third of the size. I usually don't go full size. I usually go half or a third. This pullback, you get a third size, it goes up, you're just watching this, it doesn't crack this, it's giving you something decent, and we'll look at this in a bit. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'll just do this right now. Pulls back, whether you add or not, let's just say you do, it comes up to here, you want to take off some, or maybe you just don't, you want to keep it, cool, comes down here, again, potential add in this area, see what happens. It breaks up higher, and guess what happens? We have a major level at 33, but it got really goddamn close. It was like 5 ticks away from it. Sure, whatever. I don't know. Keep it on. That's what I did. Comes down, finally does this, LB. You're taking some off right here. Right? This zone right here, you're taking off. But let's just do this as an exercise. We'll just do, right there. And then guess what? This shitty pullback right here finally give you a good pullback right here. So imagine if this pullback came all the way down to this level right here, which is right there. Right? That's a much better pullback. And you can get long, and it finally clicks at that major level at 33 right there. Same exact.
I don't know what I was doing here. That's just throwing money away.
Wait, are you talking to us?
Oh shit. No.
No. Anyways, so let's just take a look at this, as well later. But yeah, so that's how you could do this continuation. But the reason why I'm boxing these, right? So let's go to 15 seconds. This is 15 seconds. And then let's just delete these actually. Do I want to delete it? No, let me just do it different colors so that you guys can still see it. And then the new one, I'll do it yellow or some shit. So on the 15 seconds, up, down, up, down, good pullback. Do we crack this and get long? Down. I don't think we get a good enough price action to take this to the long side. So this box is done. Like that could have been it would have been a hard add, but if you did add it, or if you did take this long, you know, let's just say you take it like in the middle somewhere. Excuse me. Your stop would have to be down here, right? Even though that's not truly where you're wrong, but that's where your stop would have to be. So let's look at here. Down, up, down. The ad will actually be right here, because it finally cracks it, retraces. Well, actually, it could be here as well. Cracks it, retraces, and you can get long. So technically, this would have to be up here. But you're looking for these pullbacks after it breaks to, you know, to get into a trade. For this, you know, why you exited right here? I mean, clearly this is a break, because this creates that, breaks down, finally retraces back in. You get out here, a little bit more clean. This is where I added, I believe. So I was unable to get a good pullback again. So from here, the pullback's not deep enough. I think I was calling for 52s or something like that, or even 50 when we got back down here. What happens? We break this. I don't really love it, because it's, if you look at it, I'll delete it. It's just like this little wick. It could be a top tick. Not really loving it, right? So I don't count that as a break. But let's just say, you know, since that's the highest point, we go there, pull back, a really good break there, and then here's where I entered. I added, I should say. And where did I take it to? Took it up to basically the major level. Up here at 33. So this is one way you can enter if they don't give you a good enough pullback, because especially something like crude or NQ on a smaller time frame, sometimes they don't give you a good enough pullback because they're so thin. They just keep running. You know, so that's the way you can get in. You know, out of just pure price action example, let's just say, second, turn one of them off. So out of pure example, let's just say you get your line break right there. You don't get, let's just say that's not a good pullback, but it continues to break, because that's a good pullback right there. That's another good pullback. You know, it breaks here, good pullback. Doesn't break until here. And you get another good pullback, and you go further lower. As you know, just as a price action example of, you know, how to get additional you know, trades. So just to recap, you know, if you miss this pullback, you can get the second pullback. That's all it really is, right? You miss this, you can get on this one, assuming it's like this. Yeah, something like that. I know it's not to scale, but whatever. Yep. So comes up, breaks, you miss this pullback, or maybe it's too shallow, you can get in on this one. If this is too shallow and it breaks again, you can get on this one. But be careful. If it does this shallow, you can almost expect this to come all the way back down to this spot before continuing up. So it's a little bit tricky and something that you have to kind of practice on. But, you know, that's just the price action I personally use and I personally look at.
Can you watch at the entry where your zone is? At the V?
Here?
Yeah.
Can I do what? Sorry, say again?
Can you look at it closely? Like, we broke your zone only by 1 tick. And if you had like a trend line from the prior down move from the V, and yeah.
That's not good.
And like more a trend line just from the highs.
What do you mean by trend line? You mean like
Yeah, just
a line? Like
yeah.
This?
Yeah, exactly. And then you see the break, and once your zone is traversed, you basically have a strong signal just because your zone was held almost to the tick and then reversed all the way back. Would you consider like a risky entry?
No. I think this is perfectly fine. It's really just the same price action, right? If you look at it, so I mean, price action is price action. If this is the price action you like, that's perfectly fine. So let's just draw that to here. Right? Whoops. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but that's not needed. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
No, it's visible.
Okay. So yeah, you can most definitely do this. This is that price action trading, whatever, right? They go out the zone and off to the races. You can most definitely do it this way if you wanted to. I have no problems with that.
But in your experience, you wouldn't do it yourself.
I don't do it myself because I don't want to discourage you from doing it. I don't do it myself because purely because it doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense. It's just, to me, it's like, who is actually holding this line? Whoever's selling it, are they really looking at this line, right? And if they aren't looking at this line, what reasoning is it that let's just say someone sold here, and then price comes right back up to here. Why are they selling there? Why are they selling here? You know, why are they selling at this line's point? I personally don't know why. I can't even come up with a reason for it. Like, is it a percentage sell? Is it, you know, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Unless they're drawing this line and they're saying each time it touches this line, I'm going to sell it. Other than that, I don't know why, you know, it is. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't work. People in, you know, not my Discord, my Zoom, they use it. They use this channel stuff. I don't use it. That, again, does not mean it doesn't work. It just means that, you know, I can't make a rhyme or reason for it. I know that a lot of people use it, though. And, you know, it's kind of like when people draw, like, support resistance. They're like, oh, you know, this is support resistance. Why? Because it touched it once, 2, 3 times. Support resistance. And then guess what? We broke through it. We tested it, went through a little bit, and now we're off. And then you see how perfect this tested it again, and then it's kind of, to me,
I mean, it lacks information, but when you look at the 5 minute from this V that you got on the downside, just like not at the perfect exit from the regression zone, you have a hammer candle, and I mean, just all signs, but I would give you a better entry from a risk-reward perspective if you just have the stop loss below your last low instead of entering on a pullback somewhere later, like it's a chase entry.
I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, if that's the way you like to enter, that's fine. There's no harm in entering it that way, right? I really don't think there's a harm in it.
And if you look at the other trades you had today, when they entered your zone, they all looked different. Like they consolidated into the zone, having lower highs, like in YM. They didn't have the same price action like in TL, where they just went to the end and reversed.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, this is why, for me, I'm still very bullish on this, but because it didn't take any significant swings, this is why I took a stop loss here, because I thought that was the reversal I was getting. Same thing, wick. And when it came into this area, I was like, okay, I'm going to get long here. And I got stopped. And it was actually this exact one that I missed it because I was helping, my wife with shit. But this was a perfect entry right here for a long side. Again, I missed it. So what I do? I waited for this action to occur, which is, both trades today, I took it on, not on the pullback, but on the second test. So after it came up, came down, I think I even missed this. I actually think I took it here. It came up, or let me redo this. I mean, I can check. One that worked was this one at 09. So, yep. So what happened was it came up, pull back. I missed it. I thought I was going to get a little bit lower. If I remember correctly, I missed it by like 5 ticks. Came up. This was a good pullback. I got a little bit early at 09, right there, and then it just went. So you could, and we'll look at this and we'll box it and do the same thing as we did before, right there, and see what it gave us. But you're looking for that, like, look at all these weak, breaks of the high of the day. It comes back down. It still works, but I personally don't like that. I think that it's going to steal some liquidity, which it exactly did. It stole liquidity here. But we can look at this on 15 second at that box, and you get this perfect line break. Okay, comes in here. I think I actually got stopped out there too, but here in back at 09 is where I got in, which is right here. Took a little heat on it, came down, and then ramped up. So that's the way I see it as far as like structurally, and as far as the entries, just because it passes the entry, let's go back to 1 minute real quick. Just because it passed the entry doesn't mean that it's invalid. Why? Because simply it didn't break any big structure, which is right here, right? I was looking at this as the big structure. Now, if you're a little bit concerned and you're not sure what's going on, once it gets through it, this is a good retest. Now, this is exactly where I got it. So we've broken 2 structures, which is, boom, 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 down to here. You can look for entry. This entry right here is actually more dangerous than this, but you incur more risk on this Because where you're truly wrong is, down here. You probably won't even get that good of entry, but you're down there. So this is why it's okay to take multiple stabs when it comes to, shorter time frames, because you can leave it at that low, because if it breaks that, chances are it's going to run a little bit lower. You can just re-enter some other place, but then you can at least get, a 4-to-1 right there, risk to reward ratio, assuming you're all in, all out. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and so you got the area for entry for DAO, not based on price action, but your capital flow and secret math.
Yeah. So, I first see where is a good potential entry for you guys. That's one. And then two, then I will switch to capital flow and see, what is going on with the bonds. Do I see some kind of price action that we should be going down, which we did. And as I said, once we release, we're literally fucking one tick away from, well, it technically is a major level because bond ticks are, quite wide. The low of the day was at 127.12. Major level was at 127.12. It bounced it perfectly. I don't like it bouncing it perfectly, FYI, but it just showed a lot of downside for me. Gold, I was looking for a long in gold. Again, so let's just go through a gold trade since technically it wasn't valid, right? Technically, it's invalid. Let me show you guys why. Gold. So let's look at 1 minute. 1 second. All right, so let's look at this 1 minute. For me, it came in, I was looking at it, and I was looking at the bonds. And this is why it's a little bit dangerous that what I'm doing, with the whole Z place is because you guys know for the most part what I look for as far as price action and stuff like that. But when it comes to capital flow, it's a little bit dangerous. So I saw that the bonds, they were trying to get out of the zone. Once we came right back into the zone, we were trying to get back out of the zone, and they were struggling. And to me, I was like, I really need to wait. I need to wait for confirmation. I need to wait for them to take out this low right here. And it did. And then it shot up, but it didn't give me a good enough pullback. Again, right here. Today was a bunch of non-good pullbacks. Let me zoom in. Not a good pullback. Where does the pullback finally occur? Here to here, that's still not a good enough pullback. It breaks it again. That's finally a decent enough pullback. And if you were to trade it, I have no issues with it. Probably would have entered roughly about here. But here's my issue. At that point, if ES, NQ, everything is going up, bonds are going down, what do you think gold's going to do? It could still go up as a completely, the whole entire board being risk on. But if the bonds are going down, the board's not a complete risk on scenario. So the bonds could not have continued. The gold could not have continued. The likelihood of it continuing is very low. So for me, it's like, this is not a short position because I don't really like to flip-flop. Like what Harvey was saying, like some people just flip-flop left and right. Because I'm operating on a much bigger time frame, it takes so much more to flip me to another side. And with capital flow, it's hard to flip in the middle of the day out of nowhere, right? Unless there's some crazy volatility that completely shifts the board. So for me, it's like, I don't want to buy this anymore and I'm not even necessarily sure, you know, for sure I don't want to buy anymore. And then the question was, do I want to sell it? Well, I don't want to flip flop, so leave it. Now, obviously, the sold was the right, situation, but what I'm trying to get at is it never really even gave me a good opportunity to get long at all, except for this one area right here. This was not even deep enough pullback. If it was down here, I probably would have gone long, or even here, I would have gone long, at least for a stab. And then once this flushes, it flushes, and I'm out. But yeah, so I think, and then this is assuming you're operating on a 1 minute. I operate on a 2 minute, and it never gave me a good enough pullback, ever. Right? Even this was suspect at this point, because once we came out, we came into that zone with such velocity that there was no good, price action line breaks until up here. And then at that point, it's like, well, do I really want to take it when it comes back into this area? Or are they going to steal some liquidity? So I thought they were going to steal some liquidity and just kind of be hands off about it. Ultimately, if you use just simple price action, you almost don't get in trouble in this. And simple logic of, well, we already came in. I'm not going to get an LB here. And even if you were to drop down, so let's just do this for fun, that area. And we're going to go to a 15-second, right there. Let me blow it up so you guys can see it. But let me just draw the action. This is clearly all down. That's a shitty pullback, but it doesn't matter when it's lower time frame, right? Lower time frame, we do not care about those things, right? Boom. Here's your reversal. Here's the pullback. Assuming you don't want this pullback, or maybe you do get into this pullback, it breaks it, shitty pullback, breaks it again, technically breaks it there, pullback, whatever, right? That's a good pullback right there. And then you get long. You still can't lose on this. I don't know why it shifts all the time. But anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. You can't lose on this. It's you're in already, and you shouldn't be losing on this. You might do some stupid shit like me, where you get 13 to 23 MAE MFE and you fucking go to 0, which you're just protecting yourself, or 2 to 29 MFE and go to 0. You can still do that, but you're certainly not gonna fucking lose on the trade. If you notice, a lot of my losers, like, look at this. This was a really quick out by me, right? But none of these MFEs were anything. It's like 8 MAE, 4 MFE, completely out. 11 immediately just went against me. 11 MAE, MFE. So when you get that many ticks against, a risk reward aspect, you shouldn't be able to lose. It's so difficult to lose at that point, right? Especially if you look at something like this, like, whoa, it's like simple, like you're looking at all this shit right here. And it's like, okay, cool. We came up here, we took it. If we reverse this, that should be alarming bells for you. Like alarms should go off in your head. Like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Once it gets down to here, and then let's just say you're like, okay, well, this could be a retest for, a further up move. So let's just say you think that it's going to do something like this, which is completely valid, right? Why does it keep shifting on me? I don't know why. Like that's valid, but again, that's why these are zeros. Because I was like, I'm staring at it, I'm like, I'll just put it to break even, protect myself. Fuck it if it comes back against me. I'm not going to leave it at original spot, blah, blah, and it stops you out. That's fine. There's certain occasions where you're like, assuming, let's just say, let's just say you got in here and you put your stops right here. Well, you got to ask yourself, if it comes all the way back to your entry on this one, or is it going to continue to stop you up? I think so. I think if price action came all the way back down to your entry, it most likely will stop you out because it's probably hunting for other stuff because of the rotation, right? It came up, couldn't go up any further. So if you go up to a 1 minute, you know, look at it from this price action, right? Here, 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 pull back, couldn't go further. If it's not going to go further, it's probably going to go down. If it's going to wick this wick, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to go down. It needs to get ammo. And once it got ammo, it came up. Took out this, right? Good pullback. Couldn't break, wick. You know, that's just something that, you know, you're like, okay, well, I need to be careful with this. You know, fairly simple, I guess you can say. I guess not, maybe not. I don't know. But does that make sense, guys? Or do you guys have additional questions?
No, it does make sense, but you know, sometimes this is tricky. What you just showed, because many times price will play around. It cannot break those recent highs, like Asia highs, like you showed, and will play around, and then like I many times close the trade. Still for a profit, and I had targets higher, and then eventually it will just go, you know.
Yeah, I think that's valid. You know, for instance, good point. London came in, couldn't even go up to Asia's highs, came down, wicked it, came back up, couldn't do it. You know, there's so many ways to think about this. Is this like auction market theory? Is this just like rotations? You know, just a lot of things to think about. And you're absolutely right. It's not always that easy. But I want you guys to kind of look at it from a different standpoint. But let me just address something really quick, Imperator. If you're using a 15-second, right? How many 15 seconds are there in a minute?
4.
Do you think that's big enough distance for you to use both?
I have to think about it.
Well, put it this way, right? So let's just highlight, you know, just highlight right here. That's where it breaks. And then let's just highlight that high right there because that's where it broke and then retraced and up. And that's a low, right? So let's look at a 15-second on that exact same place. Look at that. And I'll delete this really, really quick or move it. Same line break. You see that? That blue line right there? Same line break. Right? So let's take, So let's just take like let's just take the highs and lows or the highs of today on a 15-second right there. And another one, you know, this is where that blue line is. And then let's go to a 1 minute. Right? This one is not as evident because the line break for this one is actually right there. But what I'm trying to get at is it's such a close time frame that you'll actually get a double signal. So if you're intending to use a 1 minute, you might want to drop down to, say, something even lower than that. So let's just use this as an example for fun, right? Let's just use this area right here. Okay. So you get a line break on the 1 minute and then it retraces. What are we looking for? We're looking for a line break on a different time frame, on a smaller time frame. So we go zoom in on this. And let's just draw this out together. right? So here's the low on the 1 minute. We come up, down, higher high, we crack it, and here's a retracement. And you can then keep your tights a lot tighter, right? That retracement right here was it. You get in on a 5 second. On a 15 second, it looks exactly the same as your 1 minute. It cracks it, and you do get that retracement into your 1 minute. Sorry. 9. You do get your retracements at 1 minute, but who is to say that this line break was real, and who's to say that it can't just go straight up like that? It happens all the time. It happened right here. That retracement, and then boom, up higher. Retracement into this area, boom, higher. So what do? You drop to a lower time frame to discover if this area is giving you a line break on a smaller time frame. And if it is, then you're safe to grab it. For the most part, you're safer to grab it, I should say.
Could you
Right?
could you check real quick? Yeah, right here in this spot, if there was a line break on
Right here?
5. Where not left. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, there
Lower
is.
to
I
the
can tell
right.
right away.
I mean, yeah, on this on like a pullback where you would look for
Yeah,
short.
for sure there is. For sure there is. Absolutely there is. On a 5 second? Actually, there isn't. Shit. I was wrong. The move was so fast, you never got it. You get it here, but you never got it right here. Fuck. I thought there was.
I mean,
I stand corrected.
wouldn't you look at? Oh, okay, yeah, because that happened. That move down happened on. So that would be 1 minute, and then you would look for another one on 5 seconds, right? 5 seconds.
Right. Yep. So you actually get no line break. So you save yourself, because there's no line break. You save yourself from taking anything in here, right?
So, what's your rule of thumb? Like, let's say you use 5 seconds. So, what's the higher one you want to use? Like multiple.
You can use
of-
you can use 5 minutes, right? You can use like post-it note. You can use 3 minutes. It just can't be too close to it. I would say, at least 8 times.
Okay.
So if you're using a, and okay, well, here, let me put it this way. Only for you guys now, I would say, what are you comfortable with your drawdown? So let's just use ES for example. 1 second. Yeah, fucking crude. Such a good entry right there. As I was talking about it, I was saying, fuck, I want to get long here. And you can still get long here, actually. But let's talk about ES real quick. So let's just say you're, Peter, what's your ideal, realistic but ideal drawdown for ES?
I like to use like optimal would be like 2 points, 1.5 on the entries that I use. But if I use your entries, then I use bigger. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I use bigger stops. I mean, I have to, to hide the stop behind like high of day. Like today,
Right.
the Dow trade I entered, usually I have it preset to 1.5, I think, and I used first time I think that's what it was. The second time I used What was it? It was bigger stop because I entered at 09 and I had the stop at what was it? 85.
Okay. So
Yeah,
let's
so-
just do this real quick. Okay. So let's say I forget which zone I was talking about. I was looking for a long. Do you guys remember? And yes. I think it was here.
I think it was a little
It
higher.
was 70. Wasn't it 70 something?
I think first one you said like middle, like 82. I think. I mean, not the zone, but the first pullback after it ran higher. I think you said 82, but the zone.
Well, pre-market, I was looking at pre-market. I was saying, oh, this could be a bullshit move upwards, which is at 70 something. So let's just go with that real quick. Because if you guys remember, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is a real move. I think it's bullshit. And they came back down exactly to take out some liquidity and go right into that zone before moving up. But if you want to talk about 82, we can talk about 82 too. What time 82 would you like to see?
Oh no, you just mentioned that look for a pullback around 82. I think after the open move higher.
Yeah. Okay. So,
But you said you're not. I think you said you're not too sure about that, or if you still believe in the long. And
yeah. Whatever. Let's just look at that. So, if you're looking for that, you want to look for, say, let's just say 82 right there. What you can do is drop down to a 1 second. So you kind of want to work backwards. So 1 second, and then let's just use a 1 minute. So let's drop this down to 1 minute. Boom. Okay. So you're looking for 82, but we never got a price action reversal on the 1 minute. Oops. Let me just keep that there. So here it is. We never get a price action to the upside on the 1 minute. Where do we get it? We get it right here. It comes up, comes back down. So we're actually looking at this. Let me just follow this with you guys real quick. We break, pull back, which is shitty. Break, which is a wick. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Finally, decent breaks to the upside, especially breaking this right here, right? And then we get our pullback, which I don't think that's really deep enough, right? So let's just say somewhere around here, and we're long biased, right? So let's just look at this complete area right here, right? So let's just jump down to a 1 second. I hate using 1 second, but this is just for, discussion, demonstration purposes. Right? Not even cherry picking anything right here. But let's just run through this price action right here. So high, low, pullback, break, no good pullback, break, slight pullback there, break, slight pullback there, break, pullback, break, pullback, break, reversal, down, up, down. There you go. Fuck, I don't know why it keeps on doing that shit. I hope you guys saw that. I don't know why it keeps on fucking changing it. Anyways, point is, this is where, right here, fuck, why does it keep doing that? Anyways, this is where it cracks above and your entry's right here. So into this zone that you're looking at, let's just say you entered here, stops below here, and you should be able to risk mitigate very easily with a 1 point stop, and let's just say it comes up to here, and you take it off at 2 to 1. I know Harvey likes to take it at 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. You do get your 3 to 1. I don't know if you would have been filled there, but you would have gotten it at least price wise. So you can do it on this. So what I'm just suggesting you do, suggesting is very loose because I don't particularly love this idea because I hate the 1 second. I think the 1 second's, as good as a tick chart. But what I'm trying to get at is if you want to have a low stop loss or drawdown, you can operate on 1 second and be like, okay, well, at least 1 second offers me 1 point drawdown, maybe 2 points, maybe 3 points, and I can take multiple stabs. I'll operate on 1 second, but what can I look at on a middle time frame, to solidify when we get into that level? Well, at that point, you can do a 1 minute or maybe even a 30 second actually as an entry. I probably wouldn't even jump to a 2 minutes, but you can look at a 30 second. So that's what I'm suggesting you do. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can base your time frame on your stop loss that you desire.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say you're working on a 1 second on the Dow. Right? Actually, let me use this one. So let's just say you're using you want 1 minute or 30 seconds? Your call.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I look at 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Okay,
that's what
that's
I
fine
usually
too.
have up.
Yeah. So if you're looking at 1 minute, you're looking at breaks in the 1 minute, and where you get it right here. So, this is one as well, actually. So let's just highlight that. Highlight this. Highlight right here. Right. So, and then let's jump down. For the sake of this argument, it would jump down to 1 second. And let's look at it. Right, so let's start with this one right here. And you don't really get any good price action, because this is what's responsible for this box now. And yeah, you're not really getting any kind of price action to the upside until right here, and you would have been stopped out. I mean, clearly you would have been stopped out. Your stop loss would probably been like right here or right here. You would have been stopped out. And then next area right here, yeah, I wouldn't even love this until it breaks it right here, and then you get stopped out again. So you could do it that way. Again, this is why I don't love 1 second, like how spotty it is, especially for more illiquid ones. See, that's way too fast. But you guys get what I'm saying. You guys can base your lowest entry time frame on your stop loss. Just know that the lower the time frame you have, the more stops you're going to have. That's just the fact of it. You can't get away from that, because you're going to get a lot of false signals.
So you use 5 seconds and 2 minutes, right?
I use 2 minutes and I use 30 seconds.
Oh, 30.
Yeah. I use 5 seconds as well. The way I trade is very different because I look at 2 minutes, 5 seconds, 15 minutes, 30 seconds, weekly, hour, it just depends on what type of trade I'm trying to achieve. If I'm trying to say, if I'm trying to say, like, let's just say, like, if I'm trying to achieve like a big trade, so say, in ES, I'll look at the weekly, and then I'll look at the price action on the hourly, and then I'll operate on maybe a 2-minute or 5-minute, depending on the instrument. Mostly it's going to be 5 minutes. If it's on an intraday basis, I'm looking at 2-minute and then 5 seconds. If it's on a, say, mid-range, meaning maybe a day or two trade, then I'll look at a 15-minute and probably a 30-second. So it really depends on what I think this trade idea can achieve.
Okay.
Yesterday you said capital flow would give you bearish signals. Can you explain why, and does it have turned today?
So let's go to. So for you're talking about ES, right?
I thought about the whole indices like ES, NQ, and YM.
Yeah. So, if you're looking at this, one second, let me just delete this stuff. I don't even know why it's there. It must have been an example or something. All right, so if I'm looking at this, all this stuff right here, break, pull back, break, shallow pullback, break, oops, break there, shallow pullback, break, and then we cracked it right there, pull back. So it looks really quite bearish at this point, and that has to do with a lot of the major levels. Why I think of that. Yesterday was a down day. We have a major level right here in ES, right? 09 whatever, which this major level is, the exact number is at 4409.25, right?
So it was just a bias for yesterday, like for time period.
Yep. So, again, we have a major level at 4409.25. And if you look at, say, a 15-minute, we're all trending down, and we crack that. Of course, we rotated it a little bit, and this is a perfect fucking short right here. By the way, hold on. Let me just call it out real quick. 1 second.
NQ also is at little man +2 from.
NQ. Wait, NQ's at what? Sorry?
Settlement from prior day of yesterday.
Oh, okay. Hey, Judd. Yeah, we're at 4409.25 in ES. Oh, sorry. Sorry, because I didn't even hear them call it out. I was talking to you guys. They already called it out. But yeah, so yesterday it was bearish in my eyes because of the capital flow and because of the price action. Today, the price action was telling me otherwise. Gold was going down. Bonds were playing a reversal. Look at this, pre-market, look at this big move. This is a good back and fill down. I mean, it just shows so much as far as what we're going to do in the indices. So today it's I felt like it was a good long day. But this is, to what you're asking, this is why capital flow is so important. And, a lot of people are looking at it incorrectly. They're looking at correlations between just the indices, and that's just, I don't want to say it's incorrect, but from a capital flows perspective, it's not. It's like the kiddie pool, if that makes sense. It's not even scraping the goddamn surface when you're talking about it from a capital flow perspective. You're looking to trade this. What are you looking to trade, Chia? ES?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to trade ES. Since we are at that level.
Yep. So we're also at daily +2. If you're looking at, say, on a, so let's just walk through this. 1 minute. So let's just go 1 minute. We have a good pullback right now. It's actually almost to a tick. So let's just go to a, 1 second. And within that pullback, did we get anything? We did. But it's not really moving. I don't really like the time of the day. It's just something that you have to also, think about. If you go to, say, a 5 second, this was the move for the 1 minute. So you're waiting for it to pull back into it, a little bit more, possibly even 1 or 2 ticks higher from here. Or you can actually take it here and put your stop. I probably would have realistically gone it right there. Stops above there. That's a 3-point stop. And you can aim for lower. But yeah, so that's the way I would look at it. So if this was a zone, which it is because it's a major level, and the flow is still to the downside, you're looking at a major level, you're looking at a medium time frame first, so say like a 1 minute. Do you get that? Sorry, I know it's a little bit dizzying, but do you get that reversal? I want it to pull back a little bit more to exactly here, right? So it went to the tick. Now, do you just buy it there? I don't. What I do is I wait until it gets into that area. Then I'm going to drop down to a 5 second or whatever and see if I get it. So if it goes to a tick, cool. I'll get in at 0725 and see where it goes. Right? So you want to use 2 time frames to solidify. The zones capital flow has been taking care for you 70 to 80% of the way already, right? Things could still change, but it doesn't change that quickly. So you just have to trade that zone. Did you get in?
No, I didn't get to my price.
What price were you looking for?
I was at 44.07. I mean, it did, but I was waiting for another pullback.
So,
I ended up 44.0750.
So sometimes, especially if you drop down to a lower time frame, like a 5 second, 0750, you had it, you had it all day.
Yeah, I think I just waited a little, I was just waiting for it to show it to me.
I want you to just enter, Chia. Go with a little bit lighter size and just enter, because right now your hurdle is actually entering.
Yeah.
Just enter it, and your stop's 3 points or so, and just leave it and see what happens. Right? Especially if it's the right time of day, it's in a zone, it's in the trade idea, just do it. Now, this isn't in a zone, or it is in a zone, but it's not the right time of day, nor is it a trade idea, then maybe you don't do it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you want additional confirmation, and I get that. But other than that, once it's in a zone, just trade it. Don't overthink it. You might be overthinking it right now.
Maybe. I tend to do that sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck that up.
You traded it too?
Yeah, but I was way ahead of you guys. Sorry.
No, that's
Fucked
fine.
it up.
How'd you fuck it up? Why don't you share your screen and show us?
Oh, cause I fucked it up.
It's pulling back though, so I might get another shot at this.
I can. Well, I'll wait if you want to.
No, go for it. I'm just watching it. So
1 second, Harvey.
might have to step off in like 30 minutes.
Ah,
I've
for
overloaded.
All right, now I can see your screen.
Sorry?
I said now I can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. So everything was zero was saying it was right. You know, we're getting into some of these levels, right? Top of the day. If you look at it from a further out perspective, it's pretty extended for the day. Everything is pretty extended for the day. So I feel like, you know, what am I really looking for here? It's not what I should be fucking looking for, because if you actually look at it, this is what I was shooting for. Is this is just a pullback for more long, right? If you actually look down, well, let me cut all this off.
For more long?
What's that?
Did you say a pullback for more long? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a pullback
Okay.
for more long.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here's our 10-minute line break, right? Signifying we're going up. Same thing. This could have been the pullback for the line break on the bigger time frame, right? A little bit, right? Maybe here on this one, but still, if we even go a little further, what was it? It was 30 minute was really giving me the actual true story, right? So here's that sucks that that's there. But this is like, say, the low, right? And this is the higher low. Here's the pullback to go long, right? We don't have it yet, but this should pull back somewhere and then potentially go longer. Same idea, right? Same idea. A little bit off, right? But that's the way I saw it. So I was seeing this move as just from here to here, probably. Like maybe back down to 15,000. That'd be pretty good, right? Back down into this range here, 96, whatever. That was enough to pay for whatever I wanted to pay for today. So saying that, we're on a 1 minute, and we had the line break on the 1 minute, right? On the ES. And then to the 15 second, here's the line break again, right? And here's the line break again. So really when I'm operating on the 15 second is one of my, that, and then I go out to like say 3 minutes to get a better feel for things, right? But anyway, so the 15 second gave me the line break in the NQ, right? If I turn my lines back on, there's like the top, right? So here's our line break to go to the top. Here's the 5 second. And here's the, so it goes up, makes a high, right? Pulls back, line breaks, pulls up, and this is where I entered short. And then I got fucking spooked in here somewhere because of this double topping action here. Right in here with the ES, this whole double topping action spooked me out of the trade.
So you fucked up because you cut it.
Exactly. 100%. Okay. So there's the trade right there.
I can't tell you how many times I've fucked up.
I know, but okay, so here, check this out. Take a look. I also took a stab. This is the problem. This is what today's problem was. I took a stab here. Took a full stop out. Took a stab here. Took like a 1/3 stop out. But up here, at a tight risk that I didn't. I wrote it in the. I have not done my journal, but I mean, I wrote it in there as in like. That was the reason why I cut it too tight, right? If you were to actually
so
blow this one up, because I've got all the pictures on it, right? Back to the
so Harvey,
second. This doesn't have the line break on it. This chart, I'll do it here. Just give it a second here for it to fire up. Here's the line break, right? And here's the entry.
What the shit? Something happened to my trading view. What the fuck?
There's the line break. There's the entry that I took right there. 64.75. And then I got spooked out here. And I cut it. Yeah, you're right. I had risk right here. It was like $120 or whatever what it was. This ended up being an 84-cent loss. That's how ridiculous this is, right? To cover all the damages, though, of the day, we wouldn't have made it yet. We would have paid for a lot of stuff. No, sorry. We would have covered all the damages from today. I wouldn't have got to full target to, you know, I guess break the account. That's what I don't know. I've got to change some stuff here in my mind about how to pass this thing. I keep trying to go for a bigger shot, and I need to just kind of maybe just shoot for smaller hits.
Harvey, two things. Can you show your earlier entries on NQ?
Entries? Right
Yeah.
here, man.
But you had others, right? Where you took full stop outs?
Oh, yeah, sure. Now, okay, so the first one was me fabricating a trade. Like, I wanted it to do it, and it did it, but it did it too far off. So it did the line break, we broke a high, we came back, and then I faked it, right? This is a 5-second chart, so that's not as accurate as it could be. But I'm pretty sure that yeah, right here, so maybe that's it. There was a feeling that I had that I forced this trade, right? Like I absolutely forced it, and I got the very, very worst entry as possible on this, you know, potentially just out of this double top, right? It's probably better to look at it from the other view, 43.
Harvey?
So at 43 after, 43 was right in here.
Quick comment, Harvey. Why'd you take those stabs in NQ?
Why did I pick NQ, or why those stabs?
Why those stabs? Like, why that area?
Oh, well, so that's what I mean. It goes back into this levels, right? These levels here.
What are those levels?
They're just previous pivots. That, you know, this pivot worked. 149.75 worked really fabulously well several times now. So this pivot was kind of working the same idea, go a bit further out.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if it's working for you, or if you like it, then continue to do it.
I mean, that was one area, right? 95. There's probably a few other reasons, but
that's fine. Because to me,
right here, we had the daily active level as well.
Okay.
Right around that same, you know, kind of area, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah.
Because to me, it's
right
like
that's where that entry. That's where that one was. Exactly over here. So daily actives were in play.
Yeah.
43. We also came up into this, where 43 is right in here somewhere, right? So we came up, did a Russell double topping kind of thing. Russell is actually what actually threw me off on this one, was the Russell dump. If we were to go to, say, we'll go 5 seconds. Pull this over. 11:43, right? 43 was probably the entry. So right in here somewhere. Right here. So actually, well, like I was chasing this price action here after the double top, I'm pretty sure. But if you look here, Russell was already starting to run off. Everything started to run off, and that kind of threw me off a bit through that pullback. I was up. I think I was up 25 ticks or something. And I let it come all the way back, and I didn't trail the stop in, so that was kind of a mismanagement of it, because like it's still, there was really no real purpose. If there's no structure break, there is no trade, and I tried to force this Also trying to close out that fucking like, you know what I mean? I was just trying to close that combine out, I guess, as well. Or no, this
I mean,
one
obviously,
here, no, sorry.
you know
That
that's
one there
not
was
good.
right. No, this one was right against me right away. So that was just a pretty stupid area to grab it. This one was up 20 ticks before I let it come back against me. And then I cut it for like less of a loss, which ended up being kind of a smarter idea. That was at 1508, right? So that was again pulling back to that 15,000 level, right?
Yeah.
What's that? 1157. It's 1147. Yeah, so we came back up, built a high, which we pushed really hard into, right? Came back, pushed back up, kind of top ticked it. Then we double top ticked it, right? Which I thought, okay, well that, you know, and then we pushed again, and then I probably entered like somewhere right in here. This guy was starting to come off, right? This guy was starting to come off. A little bit choppy on a 5 second, but, you know, ES started to come off as well. Really, again, no real signal other than this double topping bullshit, which doesn't equate to anything. But was in profit here, and then I probably cut it like in this area here, right? And then it came back and made me feel stupid, and then I felt smart, and then it just kept chopping away, right? Then it kept going. So, mismanaged on a few different angles, and then, oh, look at that. Completely wrong, still.
One comment, Harvey, something I've noticed, and hopefully Zero can chime in on that also. Because I was looking at NQ, you know, like look for setups when we break previous, like not major pivot, but something that you can see, like a pivot you can see on 5 minute, 1 minute. And I've noticed those work much better. And I looked at your entry, the first one today, it was like in the middle of nowhere, we didn't break anything, whereas the other one around 12 o'clock your time we broke. There was a pivot there yesterday around 12 o'clock your time. So that's what I've noticed, because I've been trying to, like, you know, scalp and queue. And I've noticed, like, if we don't break a pivot and we're in the middle of a range, then NQ will just give you signals and it will just keep going higher, like, you know. So see, like, yeah, this chart, the one you had on, whatever it was, like you can 5 minutes. What is that? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So see, like, if you look at your entries, if you enlarge it, see those right there, those two pivots to the left, like around the price you entered. See, the first entry is in the middle of nowhere. We didn't break it. The second entry is we broke, yeah, like kind of this pivot, which is maybe not really the best, but you know, we were making higher highs, higher lows. And it's not always gonna work. Sometimes we come up exactly to the pivot and then we'll get a reversal. Sometimes we'll break it, like grab liquidity and then reverse. That's what I noticed works better, at least in NQ.
It's very dangerous to use low time frames to trade when you're not. It's dangerous to use lower time frames to trade. That's why you always start on the higher time frame. Obviously, right? I mean, you guys heard that a million times, whether it's from me or someone else.
Yes.
So if you have a zone, you know, it doesn't matter if you're using the Z plays, major levels, or you know, pivots like Harvey's using. You need to see it on a bigger time frame. Take that stop loss like I can't stress enough how people are so scared of stop loss or the amount of stop loss that they end up just shooting themselves in the foot because then they're well, I'm going to use a 5 second so I can get less of a stop loss or 1 second or a dom, and there's nothing wrong with it per se, but just know that you're going to get stopped out a lot more because you have zero confirmation. If you use a 5 second or 1 second, you're always going to see a reversal everywhere, every fucking place. No matter if it's a real zone or a fake zone, it doesn't matter. You're always going to see a reversal. So you might as well look at a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute for that reversal. And then when it does this pullback, then you can drop down to a much, much lower time frame to hone in to see if it actually will give it to you, and then get long. And then just put your stop there. That's more of a secure entry method than anything.
Yeah, like again, there's all these pivots, right? So I would borderline be almost interested again right here because of this ES pivot point, which is nothing really, right? But I would still be interested in something. I bet you there's going to be some sort of reaction at this point, which will affect all of them, right?
I don't trade pivots, so I don't know the history of it. Meaning, I don't know if what the statistics on it as far as reacting.
We can watch right now. This is like that's going to go off of that pivot, right? So now, if you ever wondered why, say, NQ right now is going to turn, this is what I figured is some of the reason why. Because
agreed. That's why I was wondering why you even traded NQ. In the middle.
NQ, yeah. NQ pays.
No, I mean you were trading NQ. You're catching a flying knife in NQ, whereas you want to wait for one of the four to at least hit something strong before you decide to, take it, is what I'm saying.
Right, and which was the pivots of the, the NQ pivots, that's what those lines were, right? So if I could just mark these again, they're 42,
I think
56, right?
I think ES can get up to at least 17 something, FYI. Maybe 16.25. I don't think this is stopping. I think, Gio, where you took it, I think it's fine because it could still turn there. But on the second time up, you have to be careful, right? Especially time of the day, everything.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been taken, the 12 o'clock extended past. Like, this was supposed to be a London trade, a London close trade.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because what I figured was London tried, it's not really dramatic, but London did try to sell off as they opened. They did try to sell off. Now, London had a lot of trouble with NQ. That's okay. But London really tried to sell off everybody else, right? So ES and Russell and Dow, all London wanted to sell off. So when we came back up to London close, and we were kind of back up to the high, I figured they might want to try it again.
Don't forget, there was news, right? So they weren't really too married to anything.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, you've been doing well, so I don't want to mess with your process too much, but
okay, how about this? Then, yeah, you're right. And I guess what happened today, I didn't really follow the process to the letter.
Your process.
I didn't follow the process to the letter.
Which is why, I was talking to Imperator, Peter, or someone. You guys, whoever's doing your trading journals and whoever hasn't done it yet, or has already done it, but, hopefully Dave can share with you guys what he wrote, but you need to, like, some of you guys did good work. I just wish that it was a little bit more detailed, because you really need to define it to the fucking T. And then the next progression, whether I'm here or not, is for you guys to read that shit over and over and over again until it's like, memorized. Because trust me, and I keep on saying this, trust me, if you there will be a week or two or a couple of days where you guys trade amazingly, right? Or maybe not, maybe even just a day or one trade, and it just went flawlessly because you're just reading, you're just in the zone, you're reading everything well, and you're like, fuck, I got it. And the very next day or the week after, you're gonna forget it. You're gonna forget exactly what you were reading, what you saw, what price action you saw, everything. And you're just gonna second guess yourself, think that it was a fluke that you read the market correctly, and then you're gonna find something else. You're gonna look for something else. Whereas you shouldn't do that. You should define your trade plan in such great detail, someone could make a fucking movie out of it, right? Or write a goddamn book out of it. And then so that if you ever lose your way, you can read it. And it's so descriptive that you're like, oh, I know, like, that's exactly what I've been missing. That one key thing can throw your whole entire shit off. It only takes one or two misreads of the market to throw your whole shit off. It only takes one mismanagement to throw your whole shit off. Almost none of, on a day trading perspective, even though, on the Z plays, it was like 10, 5, and 3, before the new forum post thing. Less than 3 of them actually got to target. But you could have made a lot of money just having a good trade plan, knowing when to take it off, or at least following a rule. So I can't stress this enough, guys. You guys really need to just write it down, over to a point where it's just insane. It's just so descriptive. You're like, I feel like I'm almost saying the same shit over and over again. When you write your trade plan, that's how it should feel like. Like, I get it now. Like, so. And especially for you, Harvey, specifically for you, if you're doing well, you passed the combine already. You should have, and I told you this before, but you need to write it down, like, everything. Oh, I would see ES doing this. What was ES doing at this time? Blah, blah, everything. And this is part of the journal as well. It's like for you guys to go back and have a record of what is happening. Yeah, I see the Russell being at +3.
Harvey, and one more thing. You said today, like on the trade you took and you cut short, and you wanted to break even for the day. I think you should trade it the way you would trade as a single trade. Even if you're gonna end up, I know I do the same thing. Sometimes I'd like to be positive for the day, but each trade you should treat as its own trade. If your plan was to take, let's say, 30 ticks or 30 points in NQ, you should go for that. Or whatever target you have, you should go for that, not just to break even or get back the losses from previous trades. Of course, like I said, that's if you have like predefined targets, like however you manage your trades. You shouldn't try to extend the target just so you can break even for the day, because sometimes it's gonna work, most of the time it won't. If you have a proven system, like okay, I trade to VWAP or something, but on this day, since you had 2 losers, you're gonna go to the low or high of day, not take your profit at VWAP. Just an example.
I even said to myself, well, they gotta be getting exhausted here soon.
Yeah, all of them just keep chugging along.
Yeah, you guys ready for him to go over his trade plan? I probably won't be here. Because I do need to sleep, but
Yeah.
work. How long is your work meeting, Chia? Or fuck. Let's see. If it's long, just go ahead and do it, David. I'll just prep him. Oh, till 3. I don't know what that means. Oh, so it's like an hour. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. That's fine. Dave. I'm here, but I'll probably sign off soon.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can I share my trade plan if I hit that share button, or
Just
in Google
just
Docs?
share your screen and just pull up your
Okay.
trade plan. Yeah, you don't gotta. You guys all did a good job on your trade plan. I'm just saying, his was pretty damn well.
Yeah, okay, let me know when you guys see it.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, basically what I did is I just went over, I had Zero's template actually up when I was creating this very first one, and I just was making sure I tried to tick every point that he was doing in his entry criteria template, and then the trade management. So sort of just went off that initially. So I have 4 trade setups. One is a breakout trade, but I always want to buy back on a pullback. So this first trade is if we are trading in an area of value. So what I'm looking for is, and all my examples here are leaning towards the long side. So again, I call it the breakout pullback trade. And this occurs when we are trading in a value area, and in this example, we break the value area high. So what is the entry criteria I want to see? I want to see, well, price being in the previous day's composite value area. And when price reaches the value area high, what I want to see is a breach. And then, now this is the tricky part, right? Whether we're accepting the area above or not. But if I feel like we're accepting it, I want to see it breach it, not just by a tick or two, at least a couple of points. The more it's better. And then I look for back to the value area high. And then what I'll do is for trade management, again, depending on how far away we go above the area, what I'm looking for is sometimes if it just blows and it just starts consolidating, I may enter at market there, but almost always I look for a pullback. And then once I get my pullback, what I do is I'm looking for sort of the next value area that it could migrate to. And depending on how far away that is, I start determining what my targets are going to be. So if it's fairly close, then I'll look to mitigate at a 1-to-1. If it's further away, I'll look for at least a 2-to-1, or I'll look at the 50% move between the two value areas. And that would be my next scale. And then I would try and hold the rest of the trade back to the value area low of the next higher composite area. In terms of the stop, what I do is I basically look at the previous low prior to when we broke the value area high, and I'll set my stop below that low. Any questions on that?
No, but comments real quick. Just
Sure.
a FYI, guys. why I liked it was he's being very descriptive as to what it is. Now, the only thing I wanted you to change is the value area. Just be a little bit more descriptive, as in what value area, what kind of composite are you looking at? A composite? Is it the previous value area high, low, whatever, previous day, previous 4 hour, whatever it may be, right? So just describe that. But what I was impressed with was with the trait management. Some of you guys had it. Some of you guys had good criteria. Some of you guys had good trait management. Some of you guys even put out charts. I think all of that is valuable. I just highlighted this because it was really close to what I was asking for. And it was really good. And this is what I want you guys to kind of basically do. And I'm not even a fucking fan of fucking, volume profile. And I still think this was well done. So just an FYI. But yeah, so I think this is, you don't have to share every single one unless they want to hear it. But I'm just saying, like, what he described is good. And he had basically almost all of you guys had the same comment, which is, now that you guys built this, go back and change your duck list for each and every single one of these trade plans, right? Write it down, maybe even be a little bit more descriptive as far as what type of price action do you want to see when it gets back into your previous, value area high or low, right? What time frame are you looking at for that price action? Are you looking at channels? Are you looking at line breaks? Are you looking at, what are you looking at? So I think it's, fucking great. You guys have questions for him?
Yeah, any questions? You want me just to stop here? And I am looking at either the previous day's the value area, or if I have a composite that I built over a few days. So if we had some rotational days and there's some good overlap, I'll create a multi-day composite, and then I'll look at the previous day's composite, and then I'll look at the multi-day composite and see how they line up.
Write that down too, though.
Okay.
Because again, let's just say you're doing, it will happen, and you guys won't believe it until it happens, because you're thinking that, well, why would I forget? Like, it's, zero, that's stupid. I won't forget. If I'm doing well, I won't forget. You will always lose your way in trading. It's just factual. I don't know how, I don't know why, but almost every single person I've asked, has gone through that, forgetting their style or forgetting what was working, and they get fucking creative with shit and start, thinking that they can just throw shit on and still work. But yeah, just define it, in such a way where you can't second guess yourself. It's just steps 1 to whatever, 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 20 or whatever. I'm looking at this value area high. It could be even a bunch of if-then statements, right? If the previous 3 days are within the same value, I'm taking a composite of those 3 days, and I'm looking at the value area highs, lows of those days. If yesterday's composite is outside of the previous, T-2 or whatever, I'm only looking at the previous day's value area. So you can do stuff like, be descriptive. And then once it gets back into value area, what am I looking for? What type of price action? Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, all in all, good shit, dude.
I know, you just gave me some good ideas. I'm gonna start modifying it too and make it a little bit.
Write it down right now before you forget. Because again, we all forget. I don't know. We've all gone to school. We've all forgotten shit. We thought we knew, and then we go home after class and we're like, fuck, what was that I was supposed to write down? Or maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. But I truly believe this is important. Peter had a question, but he had to step away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll wait till he gets back. Let's see.
But I do need to step off, guys. But good stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have any questions, just at me, and we can talk about it. All right, guys? Cool. Later, guys.
Thanks, Zero.
Yep. Later.
Hey, Peter, are you back? Zero said you had a question.
Yeah, I'm back. No, I just raised my hand to whatever Zero was saying, that we're gonna change our ways. Because I've done it
Yeah.
many times.
I know it's an ongoing process, but this has really helped actually. Just sitting down and writing this down was actually a good exercise. So I'm glad he had us do that. Oh, I wanted to ask you. I saw you. I think I messaged you about that line break for Sierra charts. Did you have one? I saw you answer back in the general chat area. I wasn't sure if it was regarding that.
No,
Because I think
actually, I
zero is.
responded to today because I was looking at it, and no, I didn't, because this is a bit more involved and beyond my skill level. I'll probably tackle it at some point, but for now, if you want, there is something similar where you can use zigzag study. And
Oh, okay.
there's an option to have to draw a line from every pivot, but that's gonna give you a line from every pivot, and it's
Oh,
gonna go to next intersection, price intersection. So they're gonna cut off, but you're gonna have like
a lot line.
a lot.
Yeah,
But at least you can spot the last one.
got it. Is
It's
that what you're?
it's a
Is
little
that what
more
you're doing?
messy.
Are you using that currently, or are you
Um,
just keeping track of every pivot
I
as you go along?
use I have it on, but I use it mostly for delta, to see delta at on every move.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you want to see, as we rotate higher, what the delta count is versus like a lower rotation, right? So,
Yeah. So I've noticed that many times, like today, you're just gonna get run over every time because there
yeah.
was a lot of signals where we made a higher high and the delta is actually negative in some areas. So usually that signifies at least a good pullback. Or if we have a rotational day like yesterday, it worked like really nice. But on a day like today, obviously you're gonna get run over.
Over, yep.
And depending on your entry, some you could risk mitigate, but if you see like we're going up, like it's pretty steep incline right now. So, I mean, depends on how much you risk mitigate. If you risk mitigate 1-to-1 and you have a very good entry, probably you could. Like I usually try to go for 2-to-1, 2.5, even 3-to-1 to risk mitigate. Then, like today, I would just get run over.
Right. Yep.
So you have like, and now what I told Harvey, like now I will usually look for a pivot or some area of interest where it could happen, and that's gonna save you a lot of money.
Yeah, it's interesting right here. I have a multi-day composite where we're coming to the top of it right now. 44.20.50 is the top, and the bottom of that area was Yeah, it was area from 4401 to 4420. So we're right at the top here.
Let's see.
And the
You
next
said
area I have is
44.
at 24.
You said
Yeah.
4401 to.
Yeah, 4401.75 to oh no, let me see. So is this the we're at? Okay, so this one inside actually was 4407 to 4420.50, and then I have a one that's encompassing it, which started at 4401.75 and goes to 4424.25.
Okay.
So the most recent multi-day composite is the one from 4407 to 4420.50.
Okay. Oh, you said that's multi-day?
Yeah, that's multi-day. That is, let me see what days those are. Hold on a sec. It's only, it looks like it's from the, so it looks like it's a 2-day composite, 21st and 22nd.
Oh, yeah, I see.
We had good overlap there.
Oh, yeah, now I see. Yeah, that.
So let's see, it's looking like it's, so we tested it here. We're pulling back some, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be it.
Yeah,
It
and
looks like it's pulling back a little bit. But I wonder if it's like Zero says, if we need, like some major structure on all of them.
right, so it's sort of between this 20 to 24 areas are the two next areas I'm looking at. But so now I'm just debating, since we had a pretty good pullback, and it looks like we just broke structure off the 1 minute, right? When we broke below 1725, it looks like we had a structure break. So if I was looking at a pullback, then getting a pullback up to about 1850, 1875, 19 in that area. Let's see, it's just not a great time of day. But then what I just added to my journal that I do look at is I look at, again, delta, bid-ask delta, uptick, downtick. So bid-ask delta is moving back up, so I'd want to see a turn in that before it went short. Yeah, uptick, delta, uptick, downtick delta is moving up, so.
But you're looking at cumulative, right?
I'm looking at just the uptick, downtick, bid-ask delta, and then also cumulative delta too.
Okay.
But I looked at.
So you look at the bars on they all start from zero, something like that.
Yeah, well, the uptick, downtick, they all have the zero line, and if we're positive, if it's a positive uptick, downtick, it's above the zero line. If it's negative, then it's below the line. But I look at the slope of that, so we could be negative, but if the bars are getting shorter on the negative side, it means that we're moving higher on the uptick, downtick. So I don't want to see, I don't want to short until we start moving back up, and then I want to see the slope start going negative again. So it just happened right here.
Okay. So are you looking at individual, not individual, but just the bars, or you're looking at the summation?
Oh, it is the summation of, I forget how many bars. I think it's
Oh.
like the last 10 bars, or I have to go back and take a look.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, but it was, do you remember when Risky in Numbers, when they first introduced this whole concept? That's when I started looking at it.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's what I did. I have it on 1 minute. What are you using it on? All time frames or just one?
I'm using it on my shortest one, so on my 5 second, I have
Oh,
the,
okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
have that on too. I
And
also
then
put
I
it
have,
on 1 minute, and many times it will work. Like especially on like it gives you delayed, not delayed, but like yesterday I've noticed, like not noticed, but I've noticed it a long time ago. But like yesterday, we will get um, and not even yesterday. Sometimes we'll get a pullback, like break of structure on 1 minute. Then we get a pullback, like if we were going down, and the pullback on the pullback it will turn the bars will turn blue, or because I colored them. I set it up so the bars are colored, like whatever they had, risky and numbers.
oh yeah, so if it's above, it's blue, and if it's below,
It's
it's
red, and
red.
yeah, but I combined it with I did couple things like one, because what also what they had is they combined both of them. um, like you do summation of both of them, or you add them. I think it's adding them, not summation,
Oh.
but then you add um, uptick, downtick, and bid ask volume, and that
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they were looking at. And also you can incorporate cumulative delta on top of it.
Oh, and when you say you color the bars, is that the bars on your bar graph, not the bars in the indicator, or
Yeah,
is it
yes, yeah, the bar charts.
the bar chart? Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, so that gives you like easier to see just blue and red. So
Mm-mm.
like right now they're on 5 second they're turning blue. I mean red on
Red. So
ES. And
okay.
1 minute same thing. It's turning red. And if you probably see like bid, not bid ask, uptick downtick is dropping like crazy right now. Maybe not on a 5 second, but on a cumulative deltas drop. Not
Okay.
delta, uptick downtick is dropping while the price is going higher. And also, let me see. Yeah,
The only thing
so
I'd like to see is I'd like to see like that area break, like we get above it and then we pull back below it and we start trading below it. Is
yeah,
sort
like
of
a
my
fake breakout.
scenario.
But then
Yep.
again, is it gonna be a fake? So yeah, like what you said, you would wait for a breakout, then for price to get below it, right?
Yep. Come back in.
Yeah,
So it's not accepted outside the area. And then look at shorting it at that point.
yeah,
So
yeah. I do that too. Like sometimes we won't get that. Sometimes I wait for a
yeah.
fake breakout and come back, and I wait for that, and we just don't get it, and it
You,
just
you
continues
just say
low.
bye bye.
Yeah. And then you don't want to chase it lower because like it could still come back higher, and then the
Yep.
stop is a lot bigger, and then it just continues lower and lower, and it's at this point it's like I don't want to chase it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's the thing about it is like for me I like pretty much I came to a conclusion just recently after so much time that because I've been trying to find something that would work on every like decent move where we move like 5, 10, 15 points or
Hmm.
NQ, and turns out it's just I think I came to that conclusion long time ago, but then you see those moves, and like you want to catch every single move, especially that big. So like I was trying to find something that's gonna give me entry for every single move like that, and it just doesn't happen.
That's yeah. it's
Yeah, so
tough.
like we have to learn to just let some of the moves go, like even what we were talking about now. If you're waiting for something and you don't get that, I mean that's okay. I mean, because that's what Zero just said. Like many times we will change. It's almost like overfitting our trading system setup to fit this one trade. Like let's say it drops right now, we then get the breakout, the fake breakout,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, I missed this move. Let me see what I can do to catch it, and then you're gonna overfit your system just for this one trade,
Exactly.
and then you're
you
gonna get
stopped
screwed
out
on the
every
next
time.
one.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's the thing I think we have to learn as traders, not to try to catch every single move, even like if it's 20-point move and it goes in one direction, like so be it. Like I'm looking at NQ, and sometimes we will get that move, like nice move, it will shoot up and then come down, and you have I have to look at it realistically. If I like once it happens, anybody could grab it at the top, but in real time, are you realistically able to grab it and not get stopped out 5 times before it actually works?
Right. Exactly.
And
Yep.
that's the thing we just have to keep in mind. Like there is stuff that's gonna happen, and it's like you look at it and it's thousands of dollars in a move, but if it's not your setup, just let it go. That's what I think that's everybody has to learn and struggle with.
Yep. And then truly let it go, right? Because you could say let it go, but then it still irks you.
Yeah.
You're like still thinking about it. Oh, I let it go, but in the back of your mind, like, oh man, I should have got that trade.
Yeah, but then, like I said, you gotta be realistic. You have to look at
Yep.
it and like, okay, would I be able to catch it? Like right now on this up move, if you try to catch every single reversal, I mean, look how many times you would be stopped out.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
now, it looks like it's gonna work, because it's the move seems like it is overextended.
Yeah, and it's running out of steam.
But let me look at the rest
Yep.
of them.
Because I see, like you said, uptick, downstick, staying down, even though we're staying near the high. So people are, I think, coming in here and
Yeah.
selling it.
So
It always happens. That can get squeezed hard too, right?
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
go down. So yeah.
Yeah, that can happen. But if you have a setup like right now, I'm looking at summation. Like whatever we were talking about, both of them, uptick, downtick, and bid ask, they're both red.
Yep.
And so that also, what I told you, I'm looking at with zigzag
there goes.
study.
Is that our top tick?
Ah.
It just broke 2050. It went up to 2075, right? Let's
Yeah.
just watch the action here. Oh,
Could be
sorry.
if
Go
it-
ahead.
Yeah, could be if it doesn't continue, then.
Yep.
Yeah, and just now I had a negative. It went higher, but it was negative. Let me try to get it. It's only sim, so just.
Oh, did you put a short on there?
Yeah, I did. I got it on
Where'd you get
one,
that?
but the second one it just went.
That was a nice top tick.
Yeah, but that should pull back.
Yeah.
If anything, if it's gonna work, then it should pull back and for another. You can.
Where'd you
still-
get in at? Like 1925, 1950?
1925. That's where I grabbed it. So yeah, on the zigzag study where I have delta at the top, it was at the top for a while it was negative, even though it was, we were moving higher but on negative delta. Let's see what the others are doing. So Russell put in like break of structure, Dow didn't, and Q didn't. I mean, none of them did except for Russell, but looks like all of them are slowing down. Well, maybe not.
Order filled.
I just I went in on one here. It's just
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't break the high. I mean, it could still break the high just by a tick or two and continue lower, but still, it's negative uptick, downtick. Yeah, looks like that might not work, but if it's like this would be my trade, and if I took it doesn't work, just didn't work. But I think after a move like that, it was pretty strong move up. We need a little more back and forth before we get like a nice reversal.
yeah. How come my position not showing on my chart? That's so weird. What's going on?
Yeah, I got stopped, but it was only sim. Did you do it on?
It's in the
Evo?
comment, but I only put one contract in because I thought if we had a chance of breaking the high, just by a little bit, but now.
And was
So
it
I
on
kept
the
it-
Evo?
Yeah, it's on the eval.
Okay.
But so when I say one, it's just a micro too. It's
Right.
not
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I didn't lose
If I
much.
didn't want to switch it to so
Yeah, we got some hesitation. That could. Dave, do you look at tick?
Oh no, I've not. I haven't. I used to look at tick a long time ago, but I haven't looked at it recently.
Yeah,
Are you looking?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. Are you looking at it?
Yeah, I look at it. Sometimes it gives good signals. I have it up. I just look at it. But on scalping on NQ, sometimes it works a lot better than ES.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it. That could be. Yeah, I think after this strong move up, I think we need to price needs to settle down, and we're probably gonna chop around a little bit before we get any. And at this time of day, actually it's close to band close.
Something weird is happening. It's showing me short 2 contracts. I only shorted 1. What the heck?
Are you still in, or did you close it?
No, I'm trying to figure out what happened here. It's showing me short. Oh, wow, I gotta get out of this. But it's showing me shorting 1, but it says I'm short 2 contracts in my.
You just flatten it.
Yep.
All right. I guess I'm gonna get going. I got stuff to
All right.
do.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, good
Well,
talking to you too.
See you later. Okay.
All right. See ya.
See you later. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.